Mr. Nat King Cole's Nibble Fingers introduce you with Unforgettable. Once again, Viewpoint has an unforgettable morning, some I think unforgettable guests. We'll talk about that later. In any event, ladies and gentlemen, we always try to start Viewpoint with a kudo or two. And I think, Judith K., by your leave, we'll just keep this kudo in-house this morning. Our guest this morning got our kudos, being interested in a very vital subject, historically grounded, and I as an old patriot, and I kind of emphasize the old business, I am deeply patriotic, almost obnoxiously so. So it's nice. It's nice to have our guest this morning talk about something patriotic. So, with no further ado, why don't you introduce our guest, and we'll get right into the subject matter this morning.
Al, I'd be proud. I'd be right proud. These people are very involved with the poppy sales. This is an annual event, and one thing that they've added, I'm assuming this is the first year you're going to the schools to explain this all to them. We have Bob Sullivan. He's a member of the Honor Guard. And we have also Diane Farmer and Karen Schwantz. And they've all got poppies on, and they gave us poppies, Bill.
Yes, I had time getting it in my buttonhole this morning, but I think I worked it out some way.
He's had a very bad accident, so he is gimped up. Poor
Well, don't
Bill.
do nothing dumb, as my brother said. I did something dumb, not paid for it. So anyway,
that's what happens when you don't listen to your brothers.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about that. Let's just take a little minute and talk about the schools you've gone to and are going to, and the reception that you've had from them. Karen?
Yes, the other day we attended Carroll Catholic School. We spoke to the 7th and 8th grade students there. Later on this week, we are going to Zion Lutheran School in Lincoln, and also to West Lincoln Broadwell, where we'll be speaking with students there. This is kind of a new experience for us. We've never explained poppies to the students, and they had some questions for us. They were listening, which was very good.
Yes, yes.
You know, especially in the afternoon.
Probably unusual, too.
And they did ask us a question that we have to say we did not know, but we did find out the answer. So we're teaching the young about the poppies.
You could do better. You know, there's so much history that's kind of glossed over, and we're going to talk about the history of the poppy in a minute. And Bob kind of thinks all the time we're talking about growing heroin. but seriously, we do not steep our youngsters in enough history. We kind of gloss over it, and sometimes some of the instructors change it to the way they think, which is a disservice. But taking the time and going into these schools is an important thing, and these folks are giving of their time. We appreciate that. You want Diane? Can you kind of get how you ladies got started on this and why?
We both belong to the Legion Auxiliary,
Good for you.
And they needed a poppy chairman. And I sort of raised my hand, and Karen volunteered to be co-chairman with me, and we have developed a pretty good program, we think. We want to build on it next year if possible, visit more schools. I'm very patriotic also, and Americanism is quite my thing.
I knew I liked her for some reason.
There you go.
And I feel that the kids of today are going to forget about World War II. Mm-hmm. I don't know much about World War I. So my theory is we need to teach them, educate them, along with the public, about what World War II did for us. So that's my theory. And I do have to say something, Judy, to you. We don't sell poppies, we distribute.
Okay, well, now there...
And that's hard to say when somebody says, are you selling poppies? And it's hard to say, no, we're not selling them. We are distributing protecting them.
Well, you mentioned our war, WW2. Bob's was a later one. They keep having wars all the time, so people like Bob and myself, they get involved.
Can get involved, yeah.
Oh, the dog cat's back in already.
That's the only reason they hired me, is to open this door when the cat wants in and out.
What I remember about World War I is that as students in school, at 11 o'clock on what we then called Armistice Day, at 11 o'clock, they had a program in the respective schools, and promptly at 11 o'clock everybody stood and faced the east, and for a few minutes silence. Now that was impressive to a kid, and I was very young. I was.
And it doesn't cost anything to reinstitute that.
No. Well, we got a lot of politically correct nuts out there today, but anyway, so the poppy goes back to World War I in Flanders Field. And in your research, do you have anything, Diane or Karen, about how the poppy became the signal or the standard for Flanders Field?
I'll look at it like this. The time is World War I. Picture armies on both sides fighting against each other from 1914 to November 11th, 1918. Hundreds of thousands of American boys went in 1917 through in 1918 to help put an end to the war. When they came home, they pictured the wild poppies that lined the fields of France and Flanders. It was the one bright color on the shell-torn fields and hills of these war-torn hills. And that was one of the things that they thought, and they came to look upon it as a living symbol of honoring the dead and assisting the living victims of the war. And many organizations after that, not just the Legion, adopted the poppy, but it wasn't a program per se that we have now.
Well, in the old days, they distributed, in quote marks, the poppies for 10 cents a piece, as I remember. And I think, actually, John, we had an old guy by the name of John Wiley, who was a Spanish-American War veteran.
Oh, my.
Do you remember that? Do you really? Okay. Well, he was a big one on pushing poppies, and he did a great job, John had what was known then as shell shock. Now today they call it post-traumatic stress disorder. But he was a forerunner of that. A little goofy once in a while, but he pushed those poppies all over town, and I can see that in my mind's eye yet today. So here you ladies are, and Bob kind of pump this thing back up, put a little, breathe a little new life into it.
The other day when we were at one school, we were talking, and I asked the children if any of them knew what poppies were. And they kind of, so it was very informative. And then explaining Memorial Day services or Veterans Day services, so they know what that in details. How the poppies and all the veterans and the survivors and everything that everyone has gone through and survived and able to tell and teach our young people.
Well, somebody famous, maybe it was my mother, said that if we don't,
who was famous by the by?
if we don't study history, we're doomed to repeat it. And at this point, it looks like we seem to be in the doomed to repeat it phase.
I think it was Tolstoy said that.
Who's that?
Tolstoy.
Oh, you don't know that.
Oh, certainly I do.
Probably Plato.
Plato? Well, it wasn't my mother. I lied about that.
Go ahead, Bob. Speak up on the microphone.
Move over there.
Yeah. Get in there, Bob Sullivan.
If it wouldn't have been for the poem in Flanders Field by Colonel McCrae, who was a surgeon, a
Canadian surgeon,
and felt a lot of remorse as he saw his comrades die, and he wrote the poem. And that, I think it all stemmed from that. The poppies grew over there because of they theorized after the war, the rubble from the war, the lime and everything made it poppy
Made the
friendly, I
soil
guess.
conducive.
And so that's where it started, and it became the national, or became the flower of the American Legion in 1920. And of course, the Legion was only a couple years old at that time.
Yeah, and that was founded in Paris. The original First Legion post.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was. At the close of the First War, the First Legion post is in Paris. And I presume it's still active today. I have no way of knowing, but we had enough people that stayed over there, as opposed to the end of the Second War when we were all cramming to get on a boat or an airplane to come home. That was an interesting time. Bob, let's address the Legion Honor Guard just a minute, because that it ties in with what we're doing this morning here. Tell us about Post 263, the Honor Guard, and how it operates and how it got started. As much history as you can remember. You can fake part of it and be okay.
Okay, well, I don't know how...
Move forward, please.
I don't know how it started. I mean, how long ago. I've been in it since, I guess, about 16 years or something like that. And it was long before I was in
Oh,
there.
my, yes, yeah.
But it is authorized by the government. The firing squads, honor guards from various posts. It's not always a Legion post. In some cases, it's a VFW post. But it's usually made up of veterans. And ours is, I'm fortunate enough, when I make the phone calls, we've got about 20. We have one of the largest honor guards around now. Like Macon County and Sangamon County have bigger ones, but they're county units. Ours is strictly, well, ours is sponsored by Lincoln Legion Post 263. Right. But we do have, we got at least 3 gentlemen that are in the honor guard that belong to other posts in the county, but hang around our Legion post a lot, or have moved to Lincoln. And I think in all 3 cases, the people have moved to Lincoln, so they gravitate out to our post, but they belong, so we're not limited to Post 263.
Well, I may be somewhat prejudicial, and I guess I am, but I think you gentlemen do a really great job at a graveside service for a veteran. You do the presentation of the flag with great aplomb, and it has some meaning to it. Once in a while we have a misfire when they have the salute, but that's inevitable too. So well, you must have a story or two about misfiring.
Well, there are some. The problem is that when you get up like our members and you're older, you're not quite as agile as you were at one time.
I noted that. It was just yesterday I found that out.
The spit and polish that you were involved with when you were in active duty is no longer in existence. So it's nice to give a good, easy cadence that everybody knows what they're doing. But I give the commands most of the time, and I tell the guys, wait till I say fire, because some of them are a little slower getting their weapon up than the other ones, and some of them actually have a problem. So I wait till I see everybody's got their weapon up in the air, and then I say fire. And usually they're pretty good at it, but once in a while somebody anticipates. And it goes off. And then there's always, when you're using, we're using World War II vintage. Probably some of our rifles were in combat, I don't know, but they're old and they've been reconditioned, and so sometimes you don't get every shot off either.
He's actually going to do a service after he leaves here. My uncle Leo Pashala passed away this week, and he's a World War II
Was
veteran.
he your uncle? Oh.
Yeah.
And we're doing 2 tomorrow, back to back.
Yeah, we've got Joe, which is...
But it's been a slow year.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. I'll try not to hurry that up, although damn near yesterday I put in your did it, so...
I'll call you if we ever need a volunteer to make a mark.
If you have an opening,
if we go for a record this year, Bill, I'll call you.
All right, poppies. You're distributing poppies.
Yes,
have you made arrangements to go into all of the schools around here, ladies?
No, this year we're only going to like 3 of them. Since we were new at this, we thought we would tread lightly.
Yes.
And
okay.
then next year we'll see, we'll maybe go into a few more, and
we'll have a down pat by then and know what we're doing.
You know, you have to start somewhere. And I think you're very wise in starting small, and maybe this thing will grow exponentially so we can go into all the schools in the community. That would be a great thing, particularly at the elementary levels.
You need to teach the young.
The young. It's going to be hard to get to these kids that are juniors and seniors. They're pretty jaded, and maybe they don't understand. Maybe they don't care about them. You know, that's just the inevitable way that things go. So, Diane, how much more do we have? You've been to Carroll Catholic.
We're going to West Lincoln and Zion Lutheran.
You know something about West Lincoln, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But, and we're hoping that as we continue this, we're going to learn more or learn what to stress to them, what's going to be interesting to them. You have a program in front of you and you think you have to read it. Well, I found you ad lib.
Yes.
You kind of know what's on there. And the first thing I said at Carroll was, kids, you're going to have a history lesson. You know, I wanted to kind of loosen them up. Whether it did or not, I don't know. But they did listen. We had a couple questions, and one of them asked how to wear a poppy. Well, we told him you put it around your butt. And since then, I have looked that up.
Oh.
All righty.
So
there is a certain way that you're supposed to display
and no.
their poppy. I see.
As a rule, a woman wears the poppy on the right side, and a man wears it on the left. The red represents the blood of all those who gave their lives. The black represents the mourning of those who didn't have their loved ones return home, and the green leaf represents the grass and the crops growing and future prosperity after the war destroyed so much. But in the end, it should be positioned at 11 o'clock to represent the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month when World War I finally ended. But then it was said that there is no right or wrong way to wear a poppy. It is a matter of choice. The best way to wear a poppy is to wear it with pride.
There, I like that.
That's exactly, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to introduce our sponsors with pride, and that's the best way we can honor them right now. Go ahead, Mr. Ash. Well, right back live in the studio here this morning. Our guests this morning are Diane Farmer, Karen Schwantz, I always call her Schwancy, and Captain Colonel General Bob Sullivan, representing the American Legion Honor Guard, an outfit that performs a great, and I mean this with all humility, a great service for the families, and I've always been impressed with that. We're talking about, of course, the distribution as opposed to selling of poppies. We all, I assume both of us out there that are listening this morning, remember that there was a great poem about Flanders Field written by a Canadian physician on the battlefield. I'm not going to do any more than a couple of verses of this, but it kind of sets the somberness of the importance of the poppy.
Only 3 verses, and Bill, do the whole thing. I mean,
yeah,
it's not long.
No, go for it.
In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row. They mark our place, and in the sky the lark still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and we're loved, and now we lie in Flanders Field. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from falling hands we throw the torch. be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us as we you die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Field. And that was by a Canadian
Bill,
physician.
can I add something else?
Yes, ma'am.
There was an individual, and I don't know how to pronounce her first name, but it was Moina Michael in November of 1918 that kind of first started just distributing poppies in New York City. And she wrote, and this is the ending of what she wrote: "The blood of heroes never dies, but lends a luster to the red of the flower that blooms above the dead in Flanders Field."
Very new. Yeah,
So
that's pretty neat.
it was a beginning.
Yes, and now, here, these many years later, you kind of taken up the torch and kind of reignited, if you will, please. And I think that's a great thing. As I say, I bleed red, white, and blue, as do many. I'm certainly not alone in that category. But those of us who are patriotic feel very strongly that these are important parts of our history, and we should never, ever, ever forget them. Bob came along a different time. He was in the Korean, so we never want to forget that. And then, of course, we moved into Vietnam, and now God knows where we're going today. Was not over there in North Korea? Who knows? Of a serious note, that man is so unhinged. Well, that cat is sure busy today.
Yeah.
Has the cat got something going out there that we don't know about?
He's run over my feet 3 times. Fortunately, he's not.
For the
heavy.
benefit of those who can't see in the studio here this morning, we have a busy, Mabel's been pretty busy running in and out. So, all right, go ahead, Judith K. I'm taking too much time, please.
No, you're not at all.
Yes, I am.
We might
Yes.
add that the ladies, the auxiliary, runs this program.
Yeah.
And they're being a little modest. They're doing an excellent job. The only thing they haven't done is the commercial yet, and everybody will have a chance to receive one of these on the 26th, isn't it, of May. They'll have representatives out at several locations in Lincoln.
Will you be
where
at the
can-
corners uptown?
They can tell you. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go. I was just going to say, though, that for they distribute them, and hopefully the donations that they receive goes to veterans. What am I looking for?
Rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation,
So
Which is a great site, yeah.
Right, it's spent in Illinois.
You know, you mentioned auxiliary, and if I may, I'll kind of doff my fedora to the ladies of the. You know, I think back when the Rotarians accepted the first lady in their chapter, in their club, and 3 guys got up and walked.
Really?
Yes, truth matters. This is a true story at the Hotel Lincoln. 3 guys got up and walked. Now, I'm going to have these women in my club. Anyway, bottom line, the reason I mention that is Rotarians today couldn't function without the ladies we have working so hard in our club. And that's the fact. Your American Legion Auxiliary, the guys sitting around having a quaffing 1 or 2 probably wouldn't think about this poppy thing, and you brought it to the front and are featuring that now. So,
Well, we've sort of like tried to get the Legion and the auxiliary to work together on these things. We think that's important because we are supporting the Legion.
We also have the Sons of the American Legion that help us an awful lot with so many things. They do it out there, all 3 of the groups. I may add that in Illinois, our poppies are still made by veterans.
Are they?
And it's one of the 2 states that does that. The other one is New York. We did find out. But all the other states, theirs are manufactured. But
don't tell me in China.
you know, in the winter months is when the materials are sent to the veterans and they make them, like in the hospitals or the veterans' homes or that type of thing. And then they assemble them and we get the distribution that is distributed to us. And then we take them Memorial Day weekend, that Friday and Saturday, and distribute them around in the community and varies there. And it's very exciting that these people, men and women, disabled or veterans, are able to do this for us. And then when we come back, with the proceeds that we were able to collect from these, that they're able to for rehabilitation, for their families, anything like that they can do. I mean, all the money that is collected goes to the veterans.
You know, we had a listing a little bit ago of the various organizations that you can think of that solicit money from the populace. And the ones that were the most efficient were veterans organizations, whether it's disabled veterans or VFW, whatever, the Legion. So as the poppies are distributed rather than sold, and rather than buying, you contribute, be assured that that money does go for the purpose for which it was intended. It isn't for overhead.
Well, to give you an example, the contributions provide comfort and care for our American heroes by providing, say, $5 for socks, $10 for transportation to a VA hospital, $25 maybe for clothing to go to a job interview, and maybe $50 to provide a holiday meal for a veteran and their family. Imagine reading a label if a poppy had a label. Each poppy's serving size is a large portion of honor. The benefits are limitless. Their daily value is 100% of saturated smiles, enhancement of veterans' lives, honoring of their service, results in patriotism, and heartwarming performances.
I bet the more involved you become with the Legion and with the poppies, the more dedicated to it and the more patriotic you feel about it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've had, and I've always been patriotic. When I was in grade school, I won the American History Award. And,
Love you.
You know,
Good
all
for
that.
you.
At this time, I am working on becoming a daughter of the American Revolution because I have a patriot that was in the Revolutionary War. So it's big on me. I mean, that's the way I feel. And like my uncle that passed away, he helped instill in me, and he wouldn't talk about the war.
No.
But he helped instill in me my first pride in patriotic spirit and my love of country. So this is just an additional thing that I'm learning that just makes it broaden my scope.
Right. And deepens your faith in it.
I hope that the listeners will note that I haven't been disposed to bring up the politics of today as we talk about patriotism.
But you can no longer contain yourself?
No, we'll just leave it at that.
Oh, I thought you were going to make...
No, we'll just leave it at that. Sometimes I confuse conservatism with patriotism. So we'll leave it at that and move right along.
Oh, all right. Okay. Well, I just thought maybe you were going to make some scathing remark. I had one I'd make for you, too. But be that as it may.
So you ladies, how long have you worked on this year's Memorial Day poppy distribution?
A month or so?
Yes. Month, 6 weeks, something like that.
And how many ladies, or will it not all be ladies, will you have out there distributing?
There will be gentlemen from the Legion, the Sons of the American Legion. They usually do the downtown corner. We will be at Broadway and McLean, IGA, Kroger's, Walmart, Ace Hardware, Big R.
Yes.
Good for you.
National Poppy Day is May 26th, and we will be out on May 26th in the afternoon, and then on the 27th in the morning on Saturday.
You know, Judith, there's an old saying that nothing happens till somebody makes it happen.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here Karen and Diane and the ladies auxiliary, the ladies post number 263, are making something happen, making us re-aware, and in some cases aware of the significance of the wearing of the poppy. And I've noted, we all have in recent years, that it just came around and went away, and there wasn't much said and done about it. Now you're bringing more emphasis to that, and we thank you for bringing that back. This is a tradition. 1917. So go think of that. How long ago was that? Quickly.
Oh, a long time.
100.
Well, while we're talking about Memorial Day, though, I would give a plug for the Memorial Day services at the Legion on Memorial Day. Several years ago, when the courthouse became all shut in, we used to meet on Veterans Day and Memorial Day at the courthouse.
And the sound system never worked from the old firehouse.
So now we have gone to where Veterans Day is at the VFW and Memorial Day is at the Legion. So we will have our Memorial Day services beginning at 10:30. Hopefully, if it's a beautiful day like we've had, it'll be outside, which is always nice. If it's not, we've got a big hall back there for inside. I think last year we had to move inside one of the years. But that's always a nice service and pretty well attended. We like to see it better attended, naturally, but I just thought I'd bring that up since that's part of Memorial Day, just like the poppies.
Another thing that we offer at our American Legion Post 263 is the proper use and how you dispose of the American flags who are tattered and torn. And I'd like for you to talk about that just a minute, because that's I've been to one of those, and it's very impressive. Unfortunately, just as Bob just alluded to, not very big in attendance, but that's a very, very impressive service. So just tell us how a guy with a flag that's tattered and torn, how he goes about that.
The one that you attended was the first attempt that we had at opening to the public. And we're going to do that again, and I think we're going to shoot for Flag Day.
Oh.
And we will be advertising that, and hopefully people, and there's some talk of the DAR helping us as well. Mm-hmm. But we were supposed to have one last week, and we've got so many flags out there right now that have to be disposed of properly. So we were going to do part of them last week. Well, the winds were high, so we didn't
too much
do it.
wind, yeah.
Then we were going to do it today, and we decided to cancel that one.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we'll have another one before, but we definitely want to have one on. And we have out in front of the Legion the old type mailbox, except it's painted yellow. And anybody with a torn and tattered flag, if they want to stop by and just bring it into the Legion, or if nobody's there, they don't want to do it, just put it in the that mailbox, and we get them. We got hundreds of them out there right now to dispose.
Is that right, Bob?
There is a ceremony that goes with it. We've expanded the ceremony. We've expanded several. The honor guard thing, the speech that we do now, that wasn't a part until just a few years ago on that. So we're trying to get a little bit more formal on some things. And our flag burning, we'd really like to have the people come out, and that day they can bring a flag if they want to.
Yeah, us folks, don't dump those flags in the trash barrel and have them be quartered off to a landfill somewhere. Take an extra little 5 minutes and drive out to the Legion and put the flag in that mailbox out there, or if it's full, take it inside. They'll be very happy to have it.
Something like that would be good. Like
then they're disposed of in a very dignified manner. It's a nice service. It's short, but it's an appropriate way to honor our flag.
I tried to do it last time and didn't get the job done, but I'd like to see some of the Boy Scout, Girl Scout troops come out for that.
That would be appropriate.
Yeah.
You know, I tell you, I got pretty old before I ever found out what you do, because it just goes against the grain to put it in the trash at all. You know, that's just not appropriate. And I think it was Napoleon Bonaparte told me. In fact, he even picked it up at my house.
He did.
And took it to be disposed of properly. And now that's what I do, because they do get tattered and torn after they've hung for a while.
Well, I have an issue about flags, and there's nothing we can do about it, but I wish, and this is political, I wish somebody could stress, you know, in the First Amendment, we have a right to free speech.
Only if
But
it's
there
the right
could
speech.
be something put someplace to say, but we do not believe the flag should be tattered, torn, burned, displayed improperly, however you want to put it. But that's never going to happen.
Well, good luck with that. Yeah.
There is a flag protocol, but it's not a law.
Yeah, right.
You know, the desecration of a flag, then you get into the.
That's understood.
Now, I'll get on your soapbox, but you know, then you get in with the group that talks about civil rights and stuff. And
on a personal note, Lincoln Avenue and Peoria Street have had a flag battle the last several national holidays, and the Lincoln Avenue group, they really whip Peoria Street's tail end. They get them out en masse.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see all those flags. You take Norm Newhouse and David Gerlach in that block on Lincoln Avenue, and Troy on our side of the street. Yeah, they really go after it.
On display. Memorial Day weekend, the people from the Legion and them will go to the cemeteries and put the flags, which is quite a feat to do. Of all the cemeteries in the county and
a lot of it.
Yeah.
Which
And
reminds me, that firm in Vermont, I believe, that how they furnish wreaths for all of the veterans' graves.
I've heard of that.
Think of that, thousands upon thousands upon thousands, and this firm does that. They started at Arlington, and it's expanded from there.
We put them out on anybody that is a veteran. We got a Revolutionary War, Black Hawk, the Legion. We put them on, not just the Legion markers. If there's a Legion, as long as we can see that it was a veteran. Now, occasionally somebody calls and says, "My uncle or my father, somebody didn't get a flag." Well, if there's no marking or anything, we don't know.
How would you know?
Yeah, but if there's anything that looks like he was a veteran, we put him on all the Civil War ones.
Well, it would fall
Which, by the way, New Union has, or Old Union has.
Oh my!
A lot
Tons
of
Civil
War veterans.
But it would fall to our responsibility if we want you to put a flag by our loved one's grave to let you know that they are worthy of that.
And where it is.
Yes, please.
Going to be kind of tough for you, Bob. I'm going to be scattered all over, so I don't know where you're going to find from put my flag.
we go on Peoria Street.
Yeah, there you go.
The fact that you've got this started is an interesting thing, and I think you ought to have more public relations about that. We need to have, we're trying this morning to give you a little PR, and I think that the other media do well to take up your cause.
Ready to go out in a couple weeks to the Courier, Lincoln Daily News, and the News Herald, and then we're going to try to get a picture at one of the schools with the students after we've done the presentation and get it in the paper also.
How are the kids when you go to the schools? You mainly deal with the junior high age, right?
Yes.
Are they attentive? Are they?
At first, they're kind of looking at us like,
"What's this about?"
And then when you start talking about them, the things that, like the poppies and this type of thing, and bringing it. Like the other day we were talking about like the fact that they were made in Illinois or made by hand by veterans. The one student, after we were done with our talk, he goes, "What's the other state?" I mean, at least so they're listening.
Yes. Do you think patriotism is on the rise or on the wane? Bob says on the rise.
I think
girls?
it's ever since 9/11. But I can't remember. It's not uncommon at all. If somebody saw me today, somebody would say thank you for your service. It's we're much more in tune with patriotism, I think, than we were.
I had an old gentleman, and I mean, he was like me. He was up there, and he stopped me the other day, and I had I don't know what I had on, cap anyway. He says, "I want to say thank you for your service." Well, I stepped out of there kind of proud after that.
I do that.
Yeah.
If I know somebody's in the military, if they have a hat on, some way that I know, I do. I walk up to them and shake their hands. Sometimes we hug. You know, what more can we do for them?
Well, like in March, the end of March, we had the 98th birthday of the Legion. And it was amazing how many. There was a gentleman there that was 98
years old.
He was in attendance.
Is that right?
I'll tell you just a little snippet before the hour's about out. Is if you go down and welcome honor flights home. You see people with little, which is good to have these little beggars with, and older people welcome their families who've been out there on this honor flight. My brother, by the way, is today out there. They flew him that's a 2-day trip, Bob, from Phoenix. They go out and then they spend the night in Baltimore, and then they go in and do and then they come back and then fly back the next day. So
it's a long day.
Yeah, it's 2 days. Yeah, so in any event, we appreciate the visit of Robert Sullivan, and appreciate his work with our honor guard. We appreciate Schwantz. Carl would be very proud of you, my dear.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know he would. And young lady, thank you very much for being with us. Did Mr. Farmer know that you're going to appear this morning?
Yes, he did.
Thank you, Diane, for being with us this morning.
May I say that the American Legion is a family-oriented group. It's you have young, you have old, you have veterans, you have so many people that are interested and love the Legion and what it's for. And like the American Legion baseball team. I mean, that is an excellent group of people, and they represent your post and your veterans very well.
In the old days, we had the Great American Legion Post 263 band, genuine, and they came from World War I. They were really good. We're going to close Viewpoint with another stanza of the Colonel McRae's. That day of battle in the dusty heat, we lay and heard the bullets swish and sing like sighs amid the over-ripening wheat, and we the harvest of the gathering. Thank you very much for Viewpoint.